Hey everybody, welcome to this video. This is the video for Module 37 for Business, Math, and Calculators. And in this video, we are going to talk about installment buying. And so we're going to go through kind of a step-by-step example associated with buying things when you have to make payments on them. So with that, let's jump into the example and kind of work through the process. Alrighty, so let's jump into our problem. So here we go. The situation is this. Jasmine has purchased a new car. The cash price for the car was $24,980. She made a down payment of $1,980. She will have to pay $429 per month for 60 months. So what we're going to do is we're going to determine a bunch of different things about this situation where she is paying in installments, paying these monthly payments. So the first thing we're going to figure out is how much did she actually finance? All right. So to do that, what we need to do is basically take what the cash price would be for the car and subtract the down payment. All right. So just a simple subtraction problem. When you do that, we come up with a final answer of $23,000. So that's how much she is actually going to borrow from the lender in order to purchase this vehicle. All right, so that's how much she's going to finance, $23,000. All right, now the next thing we want to figure out is, well, how much is she actually going to end up paying? Because we figured out that her monthly payment is $429 for 60 months. So we want to figure out what that actual total is. So to do that, we simply multiply. We're going to take the monthly payment times the number of months. So in this case, it's $429 times 60 months. So what she's going to end up paying is $25,740. So because of the fact that there's interest on the loan that she took out, that's why she's paying more than the $23,000 that she's actually financing. All right, so once we know that, we can move on to the next piece, which we can figure out is the finance charge. So how much are they actually charging her in terms of interest is essentially what we're trying to find. So what we're going to do is take the total payment that she makes minus the amount that she financed. So we just figured that out in the last couple of steps. The total payment is the $24,740 minus the $23,000. And that results in the $2,740. So that's how much she's paying in interest on this particular loan. Okay, so we call that in an installment situation like this, the finance charge. All right, next, let's figure out what the deferred payment price is. So they call this the deferred payment price because obviously since she's buying in installments, she's not paying all the money out front, she's paying it out over the course of this 5-year period. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how much she's paying altogether. But don't forget, she did make that initial down payment. So that was part of the overall price that she paid. So she paid that initial $1,980 plus the total payment for the $429 per month for 60 months. So $25,740 plus the $1,980 means altogether what she will pay when all said and done to purchase this vehicle is $27,720. All right, last thing we want to figure out is based on the situation, based on what she financed, based on what her monthly payment is, we want to figure out what the annual percentage rate is. So essentially, what's the interest rate that she got for this particular loan. All right, to do that, what we need to do is we need to figure out, we're going to use a table to help us do this, and so we have to figure out what's called the table factor. And what we do is we take the amount that she financed and we take the amount that she actually pays. All right. So that difference is the $2,740. That's that interest or the finance charge that she paid. So if we take the finance charge divided by the 23,000, and then we convert that into a decimal by multiplying by 100. All right. That helps us figure out what this table factor is going to be. So we get this 11.91, this value. Again, what we need is we need to know that number in order to go to a table to help us figure out what the corresponding interest rate is. All right. So what we do is in our table, I know it's a little bit hard to read, but we go down the column and find the 60 months that she's paying, the 60 payments that she's going to make. And we go across until we find as close to that table factor that we just calculated as possible. So if you notice on that very bottom row, there is an 11.86 and a 12.54. Remember, our number was 11.91. So that means her interest rate is somewhere between those two values. The corresponding interest rate is 4.5% and 4.75%. All right. So that means her interest rate is somewhere in between those two values. And it's probably closer to the 4.5% because 11.91 was closer to that 11.86, which was what the value was in the table. So what I would say is at this point, we would call her interest rate essentially 4.5%. And there we go. So she got a pretty good deal in terms of an interest rate on this particular loan. All right, so there you go. There was a quick example of how to find various things associated with purchasing something in an installment fashion, doing installment buying. So again, lots of different pieces of information that we need in order to calculate. Probably the trickiest part about these problems is just figuring out what the different terminology is referring to. As you notice, the individual steps really weren't too complicated in terms of math. It was either maybe a little bit of multiplying or adding or subtracting. So that part isn't too tough, but just figuring out what numbers you actually have to put together can sometimes be the challenge. So just make sure you're clear on what the terminology is. And as long as you are good to go there, hopefully these problems won't be too bad. If you have any questions, like always, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to help out. So let me know what I can do to help you as we solve these problems. Thanks for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next video.